There we go. There we go. There we go. We are live in one location. So many things that has to be done in order to go live. YouTube is up. Sound is good. All right. So that's broadcasting too. That's fantastic. Testing 1, 2. Make sure that we can go. All right. We're going to start waiting for some people to start following and make sure that the algorithms are actually seeing that we're up live in person. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I don't need this. And I'm going to put this over here. What are we talking about today? We're going to be talking about one more. Boop, 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 boop. Come on. Where's my Finder window? Recent downloads, voice chat. Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. This is what we're talking about today. Let's expand the chat. Random people joining in, welcome. If you're new here, wondering what this is about, we're going to be vibe coding some stuff today. And we're going to be going pretty deep on the technical, or at least I think we're going to try to go deep on the technical. Okay, I think I got that right. That's correct. One watching, fantastic. Okay, I think we're good. Live preview everything looks okay. And I just gotta get this chat up here. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new, wondering who I am, my name is Dwayne. Say hi in the chat if you got questions about vibe coding. Oh, of course, we got to check the YouTube. Is this live? It's frozen. Okay, no, that's right. Okay, so that's good. Now we got to just double check that that's actually going out to LinkedIn, and then I think we're good to go. And then here, oh, no. You know what? I got to do, oh, geez, I made a mistake here. Okay, we're going to pretend that Instagram is fine. I made a mistake, and it's really annoying that you can't change the destination. Oh, it's so annoying. Okay, whatever. Instagram, it is what it is. We don't care. And LinkedIn, we just got to check LinkedIn, make sure that we're good, and then we can actually start. So if you're new and you're wondering who this guy is, hi, nice to meet you. I'm a developer. I build stuff. I do vibe coding. And today we're going to be talking about building a voice application. Oh, the LinkedIn stuff just drives me nuts every single time. Posts and activities. Where are you? So, okay, so where's the event? Is it connected? Is it... so what do we... Oh, geez, so how do we go live now? Oh, so annoying with the LinkedIn stuff. And what's crazy is I'm actually paying for this. So add channels, we did all of that. And then how do you go live? Am I live right now? Connect event. Okay, so create a new event. Yes, okay, there we go. Can't edit live event. Your live stream is now thing. Please edit directly on LinkedIn. Got it. Okay, 1 second, guys. One more second here. I see. Okay, so I think I messed that up again. So to go live on LinkedIn. Oh my goodness. Okay, 1 second. Almost there. The LinkedIn stuff drives me nuts because it's one of those things where it's like it's every single time I keep not just messing it up. It's like, how do you do this? It's like the same thing every time. You think that one, I would remember, and two, you would think that there'd be sort of oh my goodness. Okay, so create an event on LinkedIn. Every time. Create a LinkedIn event. So click on the home icon, click events. Click on the home icon. And where's events? In the events page, left pane. So home icon, left pane, events. Okay, there we go. Now we can create an event. Dwayne Brown. Okay, got it. Format, LinkedIn Live. Okay, sorry. Live voice UI. Okay, sorry. It's one of those things where it's just like every time I keep having to remember how to do it. Okay, and start time will be at like right now. 1:30 p.m. Oops. Okay, we 2 p.m. Okay, almost there. I set this up before, but for some reason it didn't work. So just bear with me for 1 more second and then we'll go. Dwayne Brown. And that's it. Online, live, format, next. Okay. Edit, thumbnail, update, cover photo. Yes. Next. And turn this into a post for LinkedIn. All right, almost there, guys. Promise you. Just got to get all these stupid live things going. All right, we're almost there. So, wow, we got a couple people in the house. Hi, good afternoon. Say hi. Hey, Dwayne, Blue Lagoon. Hey, how are you doing, man? Good to see you. And graphics, what app you use for that? Oh, what graphics you use for that? So I'll ChatGPT, my friend, right up here. See that? Look at this. 5 minutes before the call. So I'll ChatGPT. The new UI is pretty good. So I use Canva. I go to Canva. I used to use Canva. This is what I would use 90% of the time for my UI graphics. I just make them up. I'm terrible with graphics, but I'm not too bad at it. But so now I just take my silhouette image that I have. See, these are what I used to do for YouTube before. I just drop it into ChatGPT. And I say, hey, make me one of these voicemail things. Your audio is out. Oh, 1 second. I'll try to get that fixed. Hang on. Let's see. Audio on TikTok. Okay, give me a second with the, let's see, audio, mic. My testing 1, 2. Oh, that might be peaking. Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. primary microphone. Can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Test audio. Test it. Yeah, seems like a good. Yeah, okay, great. Got people hearing me, so that's good. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So yeah, so that's what I use for my thing. There's no fanciness here. It's just one image that just keeps getting over and over reproduce and thing. ChatGPT is getting really, really good at doing images, like very, very good at doing images. So that's what I use now. And yeah, so I'm just gonna drop this in LinkedIn. I struggle with LinkedIn every time I try to go live. It's just one of the most annoying platforms to have to deal with. But I do it because I'm a business guy, and you know, you got to be where the business people are. So let me edit the cover photo again. Yes. And that's fine. Is it not taking the image? Is that what's going on here? Okay, one second. Oh, it needs to be 480 pixel minimum width, 16 by 9. Yeah, that's what I did. Got a 16 by 9 image right here. For some reason, it's not allowing me to zoom in or out the image. Edit it, maybe. Okay, that's what it is. Crop it. Zoom in. No, zoom out. Apply. Okay, got it. Next. Okay, now it's working. Post. Okay, so we finally, got LinkedIn up and running. So post successful. Set up event. Okay, now we have the event. Now I can come back into Restream. Sorry, I accidentally, funny story, while I was trying to get this thing set up, I accidentally bought a year subscription of Restream, like just by accident, because you know what they do? They do this smart thing where you click on the monthly plan, and then they basically shove you over to the yearly plan, and just like that, like $300 or whatever it is, just got out of my account because I was trying to hurry this. So yeah, so now I'm just like, now this must work. Okay, this has to work. All right. So your event is streaming. Okay, so here. So what is there a way to stop the stream until I could? I think it's just going to take a little time. It's just going to take a little time. So okay, I'll keep coming back to that one. Hopefully it'll work. Hopefully. All right. What are we going to do today? All right. Let me read the. Sorry, I was get caught up on the messages here. Hello, Dwayne. Happy Friday. Hey, David. How are you doing? Good to see you. Blue Lagoon, background graphics. What apps did you use for that? Answered that question already. What's up, sir? Mr. Foundry IQ. Hey, good to see you. Thanks for joining in, stopping by. Who else we got? Why not Claude Code? I can do Claude Code. I do Claude Code all day long. Your audio's out. We got that fixed. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Is it better? Is it better than using Cloud Code? I know Chat dropped at 5. ChatGPT. Yes, ChatGPT did drop 5.0. I'm actually using it. In fact, I'm working on the audio system. I'm working on is using. I've been spending a lot of time on the 5.5 because I'm trying to get a feel for it, see how it's going. What can I say? It's okay. It's all right. It's listen. The problem is the bar has gotten so high now that whenever these guys release a model, even though it's really good, we're like, it's kind of somewhat okay, right? So that kind of sucks because, yeah, it sucks because we're just getting more and more numb to what's going on. Is LinkedIn gonna work or not? Is it LinkedIn? I really want LinkedIn to work. So I'm just gonna spend 2 more minutes on this, and then I promise we're gonna get get going. But feel free to keep dropping questions in the chat. We're gonna keep going. This stupid LinkedIn thing every single week. It's the same problem. So am I live right now? Restream, upcoming event, registration. 1 person registered. Great. So setup, your key is now available. Setup. All right. Prepare to go live. Yes. Pick a region. US. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Does it really matter? North America, Northwest, Central, US Central. Okay. LinkedIn is so slow. Like, you would think that being the biggest platform, aka Microsoft, that they would spend some time trying to get this right. Nope, not even close. It's just so clunky and just all over the place, and it's frustrating. 100% agree. Great. All right. Almost there. So, just to make sure I got this right, I want to keep my promotion up of what we're talking about today so we could think. But are you planning to go over high level design or architecture? What components is taken, talking to what, and build the mental picture over voice UI? 100%, sir. We're going to do everything today. In fact, I want to be a little geeky today. I don't want to talk too much business. I want to actually write some code. I'm going to show you guys what I'm actually working on, because so let me start with this while I'm waiting for this LinkedIn stuff. I'm trying to get LinkedIn to catch up here, so you'll have to bear with me for a second while we kind of think. I believe that voice is 100% the future of computing, period. If that's not obvious already, it is. Okay, it's just everywhere. I can't tell you the last day that I truly just sat down and just typed stuff. If you look at my stats. So I use a tool called Whisper, Whisper, which most people might be familiar with, but even if you're not, it's fine. Okay, look at this. My total words so far in this tool is 429,000 total words. On average, I'm typing about 145 words per minute. Okay, there's no human that I know of that can type that fast. All right, I remember when I was doing in school and doing learning how to type, I think maybe 20 words, maybe on a high end 40 words per minute, but any single thing more than that, yeah, forget it, right? And don't ask me if I got to press the number keys and stuff, forget it. Like, I'm down to like 5 words per minute. Okay, so but voice is here to stay, and it's sustainable. It's really good. So it's like, why are we building applications that don't have voice capability? So I'm going to show you some stuff that I'm working on, including my brand new onboarding experience screen, which I'm pretty cool, which I'm pretty proud of. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the backend infrastructure. Not a little bit. We're going to talk a lot about the backend infrastructure, because honestly, I'm talking like maybe about an hour ago, figured out how to get this AI thing working properly with the voice stuff. So it was causing a lot of problems for me. I couldn't get it working. I've been really experimenting with doing cold calling and then having AI do cold calls for me, and that's been proven to be a little more technical and challenging. And I have the pieces working, but the response time, there's just a lot of nuances there. So I've been really, really hyper focused on trying to get this right. And so with that, yeah, we're gonna be talking about all that stuff. Okay, so I think let's see. Hopefully this. Let me just see here. I'm gonna see if I can get this event going. Live streaming is not working. So how do I? Can't edit live stream. No, please edit directly on LinkedIn. Is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? It's just so flaky. It's just so flaky. Okay, so can we? Okay, we're just gonna go. We're just gonna go into this event again. My goodness, live studio. I have to come up with a checklist on how to do this, because I just forget it every time, and it's so annoying, this LinkedIn thing. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just copy the stream. I think I know what to do. And then I think if I just go into my streaming software again, restream. Oh, it has a different key, huh? Interesting. Okay, bear with me for 1 second here, guys. 1 second here. One more second. We're gonna get going. I promise. I just want to really get this work in today. Let's see, because every week I come on and it's just a piece of junk. Okay, so we're gonna do instead of doing LinkedIn directly, we're just gonna do should we just try an actual? We're just gonna stream it custom RMTP. So we're just gonna put an RMTP key, URL, and then we're gonna put the stream key. I'm gonna copy that, and then we're just gonna paste it directly, and we're gonna say LinkedIn backup, and then we're gonna say add. We're just gonna see if it works. Okay, and then LinkedIn backup online. Channel does not support custom titles. Okay, that's fine. Send in data. All right. Send in data. Is it going to work? Come on. What do you guys think? Pass through. Okay, we'll see. Stream in. Doesn't support custom titles. That's fine. Hopefully it works. We're going to give up on it and then we're going to move forward because it's just so frustrating every week. All right. Yeah, I know. You guys are impatient. You guys are not patient. Trying to get my thing. Okay. Let's move forward. View event. So stupid. So stupid. Okay. It is what it is. No, not that one. This one. Connect. There we go. Save. Is it connecting? Yeah, I don't know. We're just gonna leave it. Okay, so let's do the agenda. All right. So these slides I do like super fast. Okay, so let's just go. We're an hour in and thing. So let's talk about why is the slide not? Why is my slide not working? Oh, hang on. Gotta go from the top. Voice AI. All right. Yeah. So okay. So let me actually. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of things. I want to show you what I've actually built. Let's start with that. We'll start with the good stuff, shall we? So let's start with the good stuff. Sign up. So check this out. So what I just posted a video on this here, but I've been really working on UI and trying to get the UI going properly. So now let's see if this is going to work, because I don't even know if this is going to work because I'm still testing it. Okay. So let's see. There we go. Right. Onboarding experience with voice. Okay. Click on next. Now, admittedly, it's a little robotic. Okay, that's what we're going to try to see if we can get going. We're going to fix it a little bit better so it feels a little more polished. Right? We're starting from the top. We're starting with showing the goods first, and then we're going to go from there. And then let's see. All right, so moment of truth, because this is where I've had some problems before. Check in audio. Audio looks good. Is it gonna work? I don't know. I've been having some weird connection issues with it, so let's see if it actually. It literally just added some error messages into it and stuff like that, so we'll see. But while we're waiting on that, Check in audio. Audio is fine. Oh, allow this time. Allow while using site. Yes. Okay, there we go. Yes, okay. So I was just waiting until the audio kind of connect. Come on. Come on. Come on. Do something, baby. Do something. Okay, we gotta go look at Cloudflare. We gotta go look at some logs. So what am I building? Let me just to highlight and make sure that at least we start on the ground foot. So first of all, I spent an insane amount of time just getting this UI right. Okay, so I'm going to even talk a little bit about that because the UI matters. And anybody that tells you that the UI doesn't matter, the UI matters because it's about the experience of the user. So I spent a bit of time doing that, but let's just go back. So while I kind of figure out whether this thing is going to work or not, I don't know if it's connecting or not. I got to check the log because this is like fresh off of the off of the fire, okay, or off the, I don't know what you want to say. There's just been just a ton of stuff to get this working properly. How can we schedule a call with you? Join my community, man. The link is inside of there. The instructions are inside. Instructions are in the community, sir. So what we okay? So let's talk about the backend for this. Okay, we're using a thing called LiveKit. LIVE kit. Okay, but actually before I do that, so onboarding is one. Let me go back to the start just to make sure, because I want to change the voice and we're going to experiment with a couple of voices. We're going to vote on which voice is the right voice to use for this thing here. So we're yeah. Like you see how that feels very like, it feels robotic. Hello, Mr. Mr. Paul, work from home. How are you doing, man? Good to see you. So it just feels a little robotic, right? Like this guy, whoever he's talking. There's no cadence, right? There's no, okay, I think I got a good understanding of your business. Like, let's see what we can do with it, right? There's nothing. Okay, hang on. Let's check out the YouTube. I'm still on the side trying to see if I could get the stupid LinkedIn working. Still on the side trying to do that. I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna just have to give up on it today. Unless, oh, you know what I could do? I could do one more thing. Hang on a second. I'm just gonna stop this stream and then I'm gonna or is it working? I don't know if it is. Maybe it. See, there's a go live button here. If I refresh this, does it do anything? No, it doesn't. Yeah, it just doesn't do anything. It's just frustrating. Okay, so what else I want to show you guys? So now on my app, okay, I built in full voice AI. How long this made chat voice can last? Oh, how long? Well, it's kind of as long as the session, but as long as the session is open, I would say the longest I've tested it so far is probably about 10 minutes or so. But it could go longer for sure. But the longest I've actually personally done a back and forth with it kind of deal, right? It could go pretty long. Honestly, it's as long as the session holds and the session is open, which is basically one computer per session. So let's do this for actually one more thing I want to show first. So first of all, let me just hide my actual leads, and then I want to show you guys. I'm gonna go to Dwayne, just find my account. See if I gotta unfilter it to see it. Okay, and then click on this. Oh, this is production, sorry. Preview. So here's what I've been doing, because I believe that, like I said, voice is the future, and a voice needs to be embedded in literally every single thing, okay? Every single thing. So I've made a conscious choice to add dictation to every part of my application, okay? So if I'm doing speed dial-in, calling customers or doing something as an example. Come on, what's going on here? Oh, this is, I gotta remove this guy. You know what, I should, okay, let's refresh this, see if it works. Come on, speed dial. Of course not. Of course not. Why would it work? So let's do, this is beta, so let's say I'm in here and I'm talking to a customer. I could press this dictate button. So I could say, had a great conversation with Dwayne. He's definitely interested in software, but we need to do a presentation to one of his exec team. And then from there, once we finish with him, then we'll be able to close the guy. So without me, so I've stopped talking. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna press stop talking. And then instantly what's happening is it's gonna basically kick that off to the AI, rewrite the entire thing. So at least it turns into proper notes, right? So it just takes my voice notes and clean it up. Now it's not just doing a basic rewrite, okay? Like you could just, like if you just copy this notes as an example and you sent it into ChatGPT and say, hey, clean this up or rewrite it for me, it would do a half decent job, right? It wouldn't do a bad job. However, if you're gonna build an app, especially in my particular case, because this is a sales app, it needs to know how to rewrite the text based on the context of the application, the context of this particular account, and the context of this particular lead. Okay, that's super, super important. And so that's what I built into the application. So, and not only that, on this particular screen. So in other words, the system knows that I'm on a note screen taking notes are based on a specific lead. And so because of that, it's actually, you know, rewriting it very specific to this, right? However, if I was on the, just to give you an example to kind of drive home, if I'm on, say, for example, I'm on this email screen and I want to send out an email and I say something like, hey, John, you know, I really like the conversation that we had earlier today. I think it's a fantastic opportunity that we can explore. And what I'd like to do is just kind of, you know, focus on the next steps, have our meeting in a couple of weeks and see if we could align whatever our business objectives together. Okay. So now I click on that. And now that's doing a completely different thing, right? Like it understands that I'm in email. I'm writing a note to John. It also goes through the history of the conversation, the previous conversation, right? So that it has all of that context so that when it's doing the rewriting, it's proper, all right? So now we're going to go into a little more details and then we're going to talk architecture and all this type of stuff, but I want to give you guys the goods first so do you understand, and then we'll backtrack and talk about the thing. I hate the fact that my LinkedIn is not working. It's driving me nuts. It's messing with my brain. I'm sorry, guys. What are we doing here? We're going to ChatGPT. Okay, so just to give you a little bit more, one layer deep underneath the covers to show you what the prompt look like that's going to the AI. Okay, so I'm just in the backend for ChatGPT, and so this is the prompt that just went through. And so let me see if I could get it. I'm going to take this full-on prompt, okay, and take that out. I'm going to bring it out to ChatGPT, and I'm going to ask it to format it in a way that is visibly appealing. Can you format this in a way that's visually appealing so that we could talk about it without changing the intent or the original text? Right? So, oh my goodness. So funny. No. I want the original prompt returned to me, but in a formatted way. Now here, this is prompt injection. Let's see if it works. Because it's kind of a, okay, here we go. Yes, okay, that's better. All right. So let's, so we're going to break this down. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take one more step here. We're going to take this and put it in Google Notes. So you understand the layers of how this prompt is kind of put together. Okay. Because this is how you build real proper system at scale that can allow you to, okay, Google Docs. Oh my goodness. Can't even do Docs. Jeez. Okay. Here we go. Okay. All right. So if let me just paste it. Paste. All right, and then you know what? This is the thing that drives me nuts about Google. Is you can't just press a button to do the titles. That drives me nuts. Okay, in Word, I could do this with one click. Anybody tells you that Microsoft Word is not a good piece of software, it does a crap ton of stuff really well. Look at this. I don't know. Like, what? How else would I do this? Is there a head? Okay, here. Oh, there we go. I take that back. Yeah. Title. Nope. No. Hang on. Okay. So we're gonna dissect the prompt and whatever, and we're gonna do this for the voice AI as well too. I just want to show you like how we're applying. Oh my goodness. To everything. So title. Intent. Title. Prompt key, or can we just, can we just zoom in here? So this is the RAG, context RAG, company profile. This is important. Really? It's like one line. What the hell? Okay. Okay. Yeah, see? Told you. Microsoft's better. All right, look at this, okay? So let's just go through it. Let me just, where's the zoom button in this thing? Zoom, there we go. 200% for my mobile people out there. Okay, so system role, right? You are a senior communication sales team. User role, provide rough dictated notes that needs polishing for a specific communication intent, right? And then return a polished rewrite or whatever, right? So that's all that's coming in. Whenever I press that button to dictate, right? I press dictate. It basically just adds all of that stuff. Yeah, okay, link, got you. HTTP SS. Thanks for asking, by the way. /twin.me/school. There you go. So so that's what it's doing. Okay. So now we got a rewrite. Now we got to rewrite for a specific prompt. But here's where it gets interesting. Okay. So I got primary instructions, highest priority. Okay. Your professional email writer, right? Rewrite the dictated text as polished professional, keep blah, 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 right? You guys know how to write a prompt, but I'm just showing you what's going on under the hood so you understand what's happening with every single text box on the screen. Okay, preserve paragraph structure. And then intent in this particular case is email communication. It's very clear, right? And then now I have some metadata, which is the name of the user, in my case, me, the email address, and then the subject. And then I have context. What's the context? This is a sales application, so it does sales stuff. Okay, that's all it does all day long. It's just dedicated to sales. So it has tons of profile information about the company in here. It has an entire section about lead scoring and the ICP, initial customer profile. So it has all that information. So when the prompt comes through, it has all that context. Now it's not filled out in my particular case because this is a thing, but that's the idea, right? And then from there, now you have the actual raw text that is actually being sent. Okay. So with that, you're able to kind of efficiently generate real proper actual prompts that could get you like very, very accurate sort of edit, rewrites, etc. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys some framework on how to actually think about that type of stuff, right? How to compose, not how to compose a prompt, but how to compose a prompt at scale for your application so that it's very hyper specific and very hyper tailored. And then we're going to talk a little about LiveKit and some of the challenges that I'm having with LiveKit. So LiveKit's pretty good. In fact, let's just do a demo right now just to kind of show you. So let me see. So if I come into agents, I got 2 agents running right now. That's the other thing. It's not actually killing the sessions. Let me see if I could actually test. I have to test in console. I can't do like a start the session. No, what I want to do is I'm going to go to this guy here. And then I'm going to say edit in browser. Come on. How long it is voicing. Okay, and then I can do start call. Right? So hang on. Let me change the voice first of all, and then let me change on the latency. So Kerberos Turbo, Blake. Let's do let's just try Jacqueline. And then deploy agent. Let's see if it's a different voice. Because we want to change the cadence. Right now it's just a little bit too dry, and GPT 4.0 is a little bit too basic. My gosh. Man, LinkedIn is killing me. Just killing me. Stream health, stream settings. It's just killing me. So how else would I do this? End preview. Yes, end preview. Start new preview. Manage streams. Jeez, prepare to go live. Looks like don't worry, you can go. Oh my goodness. Okay, so is it ready? Let's see. Hello? No, it's Dwayne. Yeah? What do you need? Yeah, you know what? I'm pretty busy right now. I don't have time for this. Okay. So C is not very good because she doesn't do good objection handling, and that's the problem here. So let me make some changes in real time here, just the kind of thing. So if I go back to my speed dial, oh, of course my speed dial is not working. Okay, so okay, hang on. So let's do this. Let's just open up a new document, and I'm going to put all of the different sections just so that I have a better script, because this is my actual script that I'm using right now. Okay, and so intro reason for calling. This is my actual script that I've been testing out this week. Gatekeeper. It's okay, so gatekeeper. And what I'm really trying to do is pair what I would say actually on the phone with the AI to see if it can actually match up and kind of align properly. Objections. So I don't know, they hesitated. Who's calling? Okay, so let's go with that. So again, I'm just going to take all this stuff, I'm going to put it inside of the AI here for a second. So this is, and then we'll test it in a bit here. So come on. Let's do one more. Let's do wrong person. And then let's do wrong person left. Okay, person left. Sorry, that was wrong person. My bad. Person left. And what else? One more. I got not a business. Oh, okay. Wrong extension. Okay. All right. So let's see if we could train it on this here and see if we could get it to do a little bit better than what it's doing right now. Okay. So conversation. Just going to replace that. You're a sales associate. You are gen. A snap suite outbound sales rep rethink conversation rules. Okay, we're gonna get rid of conversation rules. And then I'm just gonna basically just put this entire conversation here, because what I've noticed is if it's too long, it just kind of goes off the rail. So we got to do a save changes. Let's do a build and deploy. Build and deploy. And then we're going to try to tear this entire thing down and build a prototype. I'm going to build a prototype and pray and hope that our LinkedIn actually works. Annoying. Okay. Let's see what we got. Your agent is deploying, pending. Gotta wait. Okay, let's see. Hey, you gotta wait. You have to pause after. So you see how she's just kind of just going off the rails like that? So I have to tell her, you need to pause. How do you say pause? Pause. Right? Like pause. I have to tell, I don't know if I have to tell her to pause like this or if it take. Okay, but between every sentence, P-A-U-S-E. Okay, let's see if that actually works. There's these, okay, so let's see, agents, personality, guidelines, and behavior. So if I open this up in a new window, all right. Okay, so allow interruptions. Welcome. Boop, boop, boo. Ba, ba, ba. Okay, agent, ready? Start the call. Yeah, sure. What do you got? We basically just try to, we have somebody that takes care of this, an assistant. I mean, it's like it varies. It depends. No, I'm not interested. QuickBooks. Yeah, yeah. You see, it's like it's better, and it's not. The flow actually works significantly better with that script. The challenge is that see, it's doing text to speech. So let's do a real time model and see what happens. Let's see if that actually feels better. API. This model requires you to bind your own API key. Okay. Oh, it's only Grok. Okay, we can't do that. So let's do 2025. And try to find a different voice that female. Fiona, United Kingdom. Large language model is GPT-5 mini. GPT 5.2 chat. Reasoning effort low, medium. Deploy. Let's try this. So definitely one of the biggest challenges that you got to do with this stuff is you just got to keep testing the different AI models to see what's actually working and what's not working. Is my TikTok? What's going on with my TikTok here? Hang on. Okay, so it's deploying right now. We'll see if it actually goes through. So give it a second. Ba, ba, ba. Give it a second. Start. Let's see how it's going. So Blake. Yeah. Okay, the delay. Hello? No. What's this about? Yeah, I'm not. Okay, let's do low thinking. There's too much delay. Blake is we're gonna try delay. We're gonna try GPT 5. Has so let's do. Yeah, we're gonna try GPT. We're gonna try so Cartesia Sonic, which is a text to speech model, and then we're gonna do Fiona, and then we're gonna do large language model for and then speech to text. So I don't know why. How come we don't change this one? The problem is with this is that it doesn't actually show you the latency. Whereas if you go to VAPI, like, okay, we'll do this in a second. We're gonna go to VAPI and it'll show you what I mean. Hello? No? What's this about? Oh, that voice is horrible. Uh, so let's try this rhyme. English, United States. It's so hard to find a good voice that could actually. So let's go back down to a lower model, 4.1 mini. We need faster models. Deploy. And then we'll talk about some of the architectural stuff in a bit. Boo, boo, boo. And sorry, who's this? I mean, kind of, sort of. I mean, we do a lot of stuff here. What do you want? No, we do a lot of things here. Yeah, I do handle the scheduling. But what is this about? I'm just trying to understand. Schedule. What kind of scheduling are we talking about? We're just doing it manually. To be honest with you, I'm not really interested in this. Uh, yeah, I'm not using anything. Yeah, I'm not interested in your call. So that was actually pretty good. That was actually pretty good. What was that? So that was, oh, the voice disappears after you. The voice disappears after you. Let me just refresh it and see. For some reason, the voice dialogue. Oh, I asked India. Okay, cool. And see, I'm at 4.0 mini. And now here's the thing. Now, if I go down to, I'm just curious if I were to go down to like a flashlight or something, if that experience gets better, because it's a latency problem. You're not convinced? No. It's there's some nuances there. So the real question is, can you add some background noise and other things that could make it sound a little bit more convincing? I'm not 100% convinced either, but I'm getting closer. And I've tried this on a few of my friends, and it has. They have been very close where there was just a part of the call where they were convinced that it was actually a real person, and then they kind of switched over. Don't worry, you're getting there. Just need a better voice and more background noise. That's 100%. You're 100% right about that. The background noise actually makes quite a bit of difference, and it kind of gives it away that it just seems a more human experience. More like this seems very synthetic and very pure. Okay, let's see. Sorry, can you start over? What? Who is this? Oh, so look at that, right? Like that. This is how like Gemini. This is why I'm sorry. I just don't do any of the Gemini stuff. Okay. Now here's an interesting thing. This is 5.0 nano. So this is brand new. I've never used this one before. Let's see how good this is. Because at the end of the day, I find that the thing that makes it is the speed at which the LLM can do the translation back into the real thing. Yeah, Rick, bro, I get it. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it one more time. One more time, and then we're gonna go forward. I just want to see if we could find an actual one, because then we're gonna turn this into code, and we're gonna try to see if we can actually get it to train it on the conversation that we want it to train on versus the AI conversation. So let's see. Oh, no, I'm not interested. Sorry. Yeah. GPT like the sweet spot that I could see right now that's somewhat believable is 4.1 mini or 4.1. I actually let me just double check that. I think it's 4.1 mini. Somewhere in there's a sweet spot where 4.1 mini seems to perform somewhat better. Okay, we're gonna try it one more time. Try it one more time. You need a Sonnet 4.6 or Opus. Opus is too slow. So because the latency is just way too slow for it, that's the problem. So the issue is not the actual model. It turns out the model is actually pretty good. The problem is getting the data in and out, because you have to do sort of a speech to text and a text to speech, and you need a really fast model that can do that. Hello? I'm not the person that's doing that. That would be Michael. Obviously, you're gonna call him, well, or send him an email. I don't know. Yeah, just message him. It's fine. Just get me off the phone. See, now interestingly, that one has a little bit more character to the voice, right? That one has a little bit more characters for voice. So I got to screenshot this because I'm going to lose this here, and I'm going to try to build this now in code and then go from there because that's the goal. Okay. So we're going to save this here. I'm going to save a screenshot of this. Actually, let me just do a regular screenshot so it actually saves in my. Okay, how the hell do you do a regular screenshot now? Damn it. I've muscle memory loss, forgotten how to do a regular screenshot. Jeez, really? Of course. Okay, here. I gotta back up. Okay. Save image. There we go. Yeah, so this model seems okay. This combination, GPT 4.1. 4.1 it seems to be the only model that I've been able to get so far that could take. Now we're gonna try VAPI for a second, and then we're gonna do the comparison. VAPPI. VAPI. Okay, so Vapi.ai, in case you don't know, Vapi.ai is basically they do the same thing as LiveKit. So what I was on right now is LiveKit. LiveKit is very good. They're really good, but they're more, think of it like for the developers. Like you got to get real down in the weeds to kind of build your own system. And basically that's what I'm doing with my onboarding screen that I showed you guys earlier, this screen here, right? So just so you know, this entire experience for this screen here is coming from LiveKit, right? Right? Again, you have to really tweak it and customize it. So that's why I'm kind of playing around with the voice and almost taking a little bit more time. So that being said, though, the VAPI is more of a higher level, call it a no code solution. And with this model, what they're doing basically is they're kind of abstracting a lot of the details for you so that you could just focus on the voice part of things. And what I've been able to do, so let's take the exact same SDR scripts. So we're going to take this conversation here, take the exact same conversation. We're going to bring it over to VAPI and we're going to put it inside of here. And I do like some things about VAPI. It's actually pretty good for certain things. So we're going to publish. What am I missing here? Suggestions for your review: improve qual, reliability, and feedback. Enable auto fallback. Yeah, okay, sure. Okay, publish. Oh, that's cool. It actually just fixes it for you. That's pretty cool. So what do I have here? GPT 4.0, not 4.1. And thing. Okay, so let's do a test now. So talk. Oh, I forgot this one actually. Let me see. Yeah, so like okay. Hi. Yeah, you sound a little too robotic for me. Are you AI? Oh my goodness, you make me sick. Let's see this one here. I had one. Sorry, hi. Okay, what do you need from me? This guy is probably the best, the closest I've heard to being almost real. Yeah, right. So that's so this is the model is Nova 2, which apparently I don't think these guys have. So LiveKit does not have. Let's go model. And Nova. Is there a Nova in here? No, they only have the big guns, right? They don't have Nova. Let's see. Yeah, that's the issue. And then model here, no Nova. Yeah. So Vappy, for some reason, has just done a pretty good job with their models. It has more cadence and it has more nuance in the language. And it definitely feels more like a real conversation that you're having. Okay. So, okay, let's zoom back up to the kind of top and kind of talk at a very, very high level. Why does this matter? Okay. So at its very, very core, like I said before, I believe that the text to speech is one of the better things that we can do in order to sort of advance, communication, interaction, etc. Picture a form, right? Where like you have to just fill out an insane amount of details, right? Like a tax form is actually probably a really good example, right? You go to a tax form, and everybody knows what a tax form is, right? It's just an insane amount of questions, answers, like it's just a lot of information to have to be filling out. So imagine a world where you could take all of this and just kind of turn it into an actual real conversation. Like that's where I think the real value and the power of this tool is. Obviously, I think what we've been doing right now is kind of, we're trying to do cold calling and this type of stuff where there's like high touch, high human type of deal. But if you're vibe coding an application and you're trying to build sort of like a novel flow to guide your user through a really complex set of processes, that's where it really, really shines. And this is one example here. So again, using my own app as an example, if you were to go into lead score, right? I got an ICP and look at how many questions I have. I'm not even counting them, but just to give you an idea, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and it just goes on and on and on, right? There's at least 20 questions here for sure. Okay. So the problem is that like having the user enter all of this information, like the voice assistant becomes a really, really solid solution to get this going to be able to think. So the question is, how do you do this in a way that makes sense, right? So, okay, talk about some of the benefits as well too, right? So eliminate confusion. If you could just ask people the questions that they need to answer, you get them to do it. Now, I don't know if you could do this on a government tax form because it's a government and it needs to be very precise. But I could see there's a world where they could do the voice conversation, translate that into actual notes, and then translate that to actual thing that goes on the form. So there's layers inside the entire process. So let me just kind of lay that out because I'm going to try to do it live. We'll see if we can do it in this application because I have one of the pieces that I want to build out for this application here. But let's talk at a very high level from an architecture standpoint, how to kind of get going with this because there's a lot of moving parts here. A lot of moving parts. So and again, we're kind of geeking out today. We're doing on the deep end side. So sorry if you guys are here for the business stuff. We're not talking business today. We're just on the deep end. So no, let's do this here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and then let's call this our user. Okay. So user comes to your app. They're interested in having some kind of interaction. Okay. So a couple things that we need in order to make this work. So let's copy this and just put it. So this is your app. And your app does something, has a whole bunch of, let's call it forms. So you have, multiple different types of forms that you're going to fill out, right? So let's say sign up for, not sign up form, like profile, PRO. And then let's say you got some kind of preferences maybe. And maybe you have whatever. Profile preferences was another thing that we could have. Email. Let's say configuration. Preferences, configuration, same thing. Let's just go with templates. Yeah, let's go. Okay, so your app needs to support all of this, right? On the back end, your app needs to support profiles. Your app needs to support templates. Your app needs to support updates of documents. Your app needs to support, you get the idea, right? Like just stuff. Okay, so you got your little voice icon. What do we do with a little voice icon? Okay, let's just do this as a little voice. Okay, and let's say voice. Okay. So what is the goal? The goal is to run the voice agent, obviously, here. Make it bigger so everybody can see it, right? The goal is to run the voice agent at this level, connect to the app. That's straightforward, okay? But really and truly, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the voice to basically send this information here. You're trying to do, well, it's really like this, is you're really trying to do unstructured data, and then you're trying to convert that into structured data. Okay, that's the basic goal. Let me make this bigger so I could see it. Right? Unstructured to structured. That's the goal. So this is going to be a dance in terms of like how you actually implement this and how you actually get this going. Right. Okay. There's gonna be so because the voice is unstructured, but unstructured giving you the text, you need a systematic way to come up with a voice conversation that you can consistently and reliably, this is the key word, consistently and reliably convert that data into structured data. That's basically the dance that you're trying to do. And there's no, actually, at least from my understanding and reviewing of this, I haven't seen a good way to do it. So I've been coming up with my own process to make this happen. And one of the ways that you gotta think about it is, well, first of all, you have to do it in steps. All right, so let's just outline those steps. Those at a very, very high level. Okay, so step number one. So you take the raw input, right? And the obvious next thing is you need to do SST, speech to text, STT, speech to text. Okay. And the good news is that, we got a framework in place. So this could be done very easily. So this is easy stuff, or at least in today's modern world, it could be done for you. Okay. So you do speech to text, you get the raw text. Okay. That's why we're using these tools like VAPI and LiveKit, because they take care of this stuff for us. We don't have to think about this, right? Like they just handle this on their own properly. We don't have to think about the details of how to do that conversion and what's involved and WebSockets and all that type of stuff. We don't have to think about that. We just know that it's going to take our raw voice, which is basically a WebSocket sort of connection to the back end, and it's going to run a speech-to-text model on it in real time, collecting that sort of nuance, utterance, all that type of stuff, and then converting it into raw text for us, okay? And then from that point, what we need to do is we need to almost like a filter, well, maybe a distillation process of some sort. So there's our text, it's raw. And then on the back end, come on, got a couple of little pipeline things that we need to do, right? So first of all, we need to take the text and we need to sort of we need to bring in context. What is it that we want to do with this text? Right? Why does this text matter in what broader context? Because obviously the AI doesn't have a lot of context in terms of what it's actually doing. So context really, really matters here. Okay. And context could look like, just to expand on that a little bit. Context can look like, it could look like website data. It could look like profile info. Right? Or it could look like stuff that the user already filled out before. So user data. And that's just basically stored in their profile, in their database, wherever you're storing that information, right? All it is that we're just going to take that information, we're going to append it to the raw text so that we can essentially craft a prompt. Like that's basically what we're trying to do here. Okay. So context is one. Second thing is we want to basically kind of highlight the intent. Like what is the goal? Right? And yeah, intent. And then we want to highlight the we need to specify the format or the response. Right? So we need to basically highlight the format / response of the text. So those three are what we really need in order for us to basically kind of craft our own version. Essentially, it's just a prompt, right? Like it's just a prompt. That's all we're doing, right? We're just taking those three in very simple format. We're distilling them, the intent for the user, how we want to get back the data, and we're basically just crafting that into prompt, which then now goes out to the LLM. Okay. The question is, how do you do this properly? Okay, so that goes out to the LLM. So goodbye new TP. Sorry, what's that? I don't go. Gold by new TP. Okay, I don't. Yeah. I'll just ignore you. So with that, the LLM will basically, give us sort of whatever the response that we ask for in the format that we're asking for that response. Okay, and then from there, now the goal is to take actual code. Can I do? Jeez, I don't like this tool anymore. I used to like it, but it doesn't give me a lot of options of more shapes. Okay, let's do a gear. Okay, there. Okay, now the goal is to take the response. Oh, why is it not scaling? Oh my goodness. Ugly. Okay, whatever. So now the goal is to take the response that comes back from the LLM, right? So here, response comes in here. Green, we're gonna put it. And Yeah. So the response comes in here, and then we want to actually like literally convert that into true structured code. Okay. So we want to turn that into code, and then from there, we're going to drop it into the database. Or, well, actually, before we do that, we need to do some validation. So that's where the code is going to do. The code is going to help you to validate it. Okay. And then now we can put that into the database as structured content. Okay, so that's the goal. That's the mission. Okay, I know that's a lot of steps. It seems like a lot of steps, but it's literally just a conversion layer of this entire process is what you're doing. Okay, the problem with this entire thing, let's just back out because there's a lot of steps here. Okay, so just to recap at a very, very high level. Okay, you got a user. User wants to interact with your app, wants to talk, say, hey, we're gonna do sorry, you did the SST, but where is the leg for the TTS, text to speech, for the call flow? Okay, sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit here. So what I'm talking about here is how do you take sort of just raw input, voice input, and then basically input that into form. So this is half of that conversation. You're a little bit ahead of me. You're talking text to speech where you're doing the reverse. So what I'm really talking about is the first half of the process of doing essentially. So just to back up a little bit, thanks for asking the question, is entering information into forms like this. Okay, so imagine like a wizard, right? That I show you the example at the start of this conversation if you were there, where you're just asking the user question. Hey, good to see you. Thanks for signing up for my app. Would love to understand a little bit more about your company or your business, or what is it that you're interested in doing based on whatever the context of my app, of your app is, right? And then it's like, okay, that's great. That sounds good. How are you handling XYZ, right? What is your intention? What are the pain points that you're having with your business? Like, just literally just have that conversation just so that you could take that data and put it into a database. But you're not putting it into a database in raw text format, meaning, just transcribe format, because it's not really usable in that context, right? You're just basically just pulling that speech to text into the system and coming up with a process to convert it into structured data, which basically just translates to rows and columns in a database, right? Does that make sense? That's what I'm really focused on right this minute. The first half of that conversation, and like I said, David, what you're talking about is on the back half, which is basically like how do you going from the writing the text back out as a voice, which we'll talk about as well too. But I want to make sure that we're kind of hyper focused on this part, because I actually believe that this first part that I'm talking about right now is actually a very underrated, underutilized capability in building any application today. That's why I want to focus it. So, real example I'm giving you as we speak. Okay, so let me zoom in on this a little bit so we could think. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in on this. All right. So again, I got this application here is so complex and there's so many details. It's growing every single day because literally every day I'm writing features for it. It's like for me to get a user to come in here and fill out all of this stuff. It's insane, right? It's like no human being wants to come here and fill all this information out. They would just go away. So you have to come up with a really what I call a sleek, elegant way for them to be able to input that information into your app, because again, your app is an AI app. It's AI native. It actually needs a lot of context. That context really matters. But we have a disconnect because the human beings are lazy, right? I know I am for sure. And anytime you give me a form that's way too long, I'm like, forget it. I'm done. I don't want to do this, right? It's the reason why I'm always late with my tax returns. It's just the way it goes, right? So this process allows you to just kind of just input that data in a structured manner, right? Like one one step removed from that. I'm trying to give the layers here. In fact, let me just, I'm jumping around a little, but I want to make sure that I'm going to kind of highlight your point a little bit more. I know you mentioned that you got it, but I'm going to highlight one other thing here, which is this. So, because there's kind of three parts, okay? I normally say three funny. I know that I say that funny. I've always been corrected. So there's the voice input, right, which is what we're talking about right now. Speech to text, speech STT, speech to text. Okay, so there's a voice input. Okay, so that's one. Okay, so that's the first half. The half that you're talking about, David, is the text to speech, TTS, which is basically is text input, right? Back to voice. I should put this to voice, VOICE. Okay, so that's the part that you're talking about. We're going to get to that part. I promise. We're going to do that because I'm going to actually try to show how it's actually done. So that's the back half. This is the front half. There's an in between, which is where these new tools are kind of coming. Now, to be fair, it's kind of the front half, just with a little bit of like this front half here is, let's call it pure voice input, to kind of put some differentiator. Pure voice input. Let's just call it that for the sake of this conversation, okay? And then there's a voice input, which actually even better. There's a dictation. 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 That's we don't have to put the input, okay? Speech to text. So basically, real-time dictation is probably a better way to describe it instead of speech to text. Okay. Okay. So I believe this is my belief right now, that every app going forward absolutely needs to have all three of these embedded inside of it. And if you can't do all three, at bare minimum, you do the middle one. Okay, this is my belief right now. This is what I think every app, every vibe coded app needs to have going forward in order to succeed and feel like a modern app, and not feel like you're just basically recreating the wheel of, you know, I know, like an app that's been around on the market for a thing, right? Like what's the difference between your fancy vibe coded app and, I don't know, Notion or HubSpot or Salesforce or whatever, right? Okay, those apps are more complicated, but outside of that, you're basically just vibe coding a bunch of forms. Well, we've done forms. Forms have been done. They've been around forever, and it's like why are we doing this? Right? The AIs are way smarter. They can do more stuff. Thanks for saying that, Mr. Dat Tall Guy. The AIs have done this before. So we need to think or change our way of thinking about the way that we essentially develop applications. And so this is why I'm like having this conversation about stop building forms, okay? Build the forms so that you could capture the data and then put an interface on top of it that allows a human being to communicate in a way that's more natural. And my video is paused. Oh my goodness. Oh, right. Is it? Okay, hang on a second. Thanks for that. One second. Oops, no, that's wrong. Didn't want to do that. Full screen. Scenes. Okay, let's change it, and let's video is paused, so we're gonna go to FaceTime HD for a second. Okay, there's my, and then we're gonna go back to, thanks for letting me know about that. And then now we gotta figure out how to put that back to there we go. Look at that, man. I'm a pro at this now. Fantastic. Thank you for that. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I swear every week there's some sort of crisis with streaming. Great. We're back. I'm moving. Here we go. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. So that's the point, right? Like we really have to rethink what it means to build a modern application. So like I said, let's just talk about it like because no, to be fair, most of you guys are just trying to just get a basic app off the ground. Okay, so I hear you. It's not as straightforward and as easy to do. So in terms of complexity, this I would say is like medium. Getting input into getting voice input. No, actually no. It's the other way around. This is hard ish in today's world. Hard ish. Actually, it's a hard problem, but it's been dumbed down. But this is definitely hard for sure. This is more like medium, I would say. So getting the computer to talk to you in a natural way. What am I saying? Voice input is me putting input into the system and then it translated. This is not as hard. I'm kind of confusing because I'm doing two things at once. I'm doing two things at once. Actually, let's do it this way. I know what to do. This is medium. MEDIUM. This is medium hardness. Okay. Let me rephrase that. Okay. This is medium hardness individually by itself. Okay. If you're doing it by itself. This is also medium hard by itself. Okay. It's the combining and then actually let me just make sure that let me get some space here. The middle is actually, believe it or not, very easy in today's world. Super easy. Real-time dictation. Okay, easy. And I genuinely mean that. I'm going to show you some examples of that in a sec. So so this is easy. Okay, it's what makes this stuff hard is when you try to combine all three of them together. There we go. Hard. Okay, or harder is what I should really say. Okay, nothing is really that hard, relatively speaking, with today's AI, right? As long as you got a little bit of patience, a little bit of time, and you're willing to kind of spend, I don't know, all night trying to debug a bug on your application, not calling any names or pointing any fingers right now. Totally. Yeah, I was up till like 5:30 this morning trying to get this damn thing working because I was just running into a stupid problem. So that's why I'm having this stream, but I'm sharing what I've learned. But some of the stuff I've literally just learned because I've tried this before last year. Okay, just to give you some backstory and some context. Last year I tried working on this stuff, and I was like, oh, I could totally do this. And I started going into ChatGPT and I built a whole bunch of stuff, and it kind of worked in a demo. And then I tried to put it into an app, and it just fell apart. And I was like, damn. And the amount of debugging that I had to do at the code level to figure out just basic stuff, I was like, okay, I got to table this for a bit. This is a little bit more complex than I thought. So I tabled it. 1 year later, I'm now building a full-on my onboarding experience for my app. Just to go back to this here, SIGN, you up. After you sign in, will 100% be voice. Mark my word. It's talking right now. It's a crappy voice, but I'm still giving the users like sort of like the text, just in case they just in case they can't hear or whatever. But outside of that, then no, see the hair, I'm trying to do a two-way communication and I'm having some issues. So that's what I mean. Like this graph, this problem, this app literally highlights this problem. I can get pure voice input. Well, technically, I'm actually doing the backend right now. I'm doing the text to voice. Okay. The and then on my app, I have real-time dictation, which is what this is in here. Okay. So I believe, so again, going back to my belief system now, every app at minimum in today's world, today's modern world, you should have dictation, real-time dictation for any input screen that's going to have like at least 3 or 4 lines of text, right? If somebody has to type a bunch of stuff, real-time dictation. And that's something that's built into all the browsers across like all the platforms now. So you have no excuse to doing that with an AI. So what does that look like? That's what this app does, right? So here, professional background, dictate. So I could click on this. I say, my professional background is I have about 20 years of experience as a software developer, and I am really trying to at least figure out the next part of my career. I got a whole bunch of startups that I'm focused on, any single thing from a sales application to a project management software for contractors and financing mobile app to helping you manage your personal finance. So that's really where I'm at. But I'm at heart, I'm really an entrepreneur and a entrepreneur that went rogue. Okay, so with that dictation, now it should have done real time, but I have a bug inside of here where it actually is not showing the real time text. And what ended up happening is it just kind of oh, interesting. Yeah, you know what? There's a bug inside of this screen here. Let me show it on a different screen. I know what the bug is, but I just didn't have time to fix it. Let me go to a different one here, just to prove my point. Okay, so I come in here, click on this one here, click on dictate. So yes, what I'm trying to do is basically show the brilliance of having a real-time dictation system in your software, just so that people could be more comfortable with typing text, and we don't have to allow them to sort of like hurt their fingers on their keyboard. You know, this is a real problem. This is going to be something that I'm going to be demoing for all of the customers going forward, but definitely for this customer because he has a broken hand. Okay, so if you wait 2 seconds, it automatically starts the translation, right? So show the value of having real-time dictation system in the software so people can be more comfortable than typing text and avoid hurting their fingers on the keyboard. This is a real issue and will be demonstrated to all customers going forward, especially this customer because of his broken hand, right? Like, look at that. Perfectly translated text based on the fact that it knows that I'm in a lead, I'm talking about the notes, and I'm recording information about what I want to do in the future, right? So this is easy. This is literally tell the AI to put a dictate button above every single control, right, on my UI and have it and make it do dictation. That part is straightforward. Okay, the step that is in between this part, so in between the dictation, is what this is. Okay, is this, which is taking that text data and converting it to structured text. Okay, that's the nuance here that we're talking about. All right. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate you saying that it's valuable. All right. So I really appreciate that. I thank you for that because I was struggling to figure out what we are going to talk about today. But this is what I'm working on. So I was like, you know what, let's talk about what I'm working on because I'm really aggressively pushing this on my application. I plan to launch this application pretty soon, and that's you're going to just see it all throughout the entire thing, right? I'm like, why are we still typing? In fact, let's just ban typing. Now, obviously, we can't do that pretty because like you still, if you're doing a text box like this, you should still type. Like it's just obvious. But if I'm writing this much text, I don't want to type. Let the AI do it. Let them figure it out. And I don't even want to correct my own grammar anymore. All right. So with that, right now the issue here again, and I'm trying to go slow, and I'm repeating myself a little bit because I just want to make sure that everybody can understand the challenge that's in between the challenge, right? Challenge number one is you need to basically, make sure that all your screens has some way that you could do voice input. That's challenge number one. And like I said, that's easy because all the browsers have this built in. You just need to just tell the AI, put a mic on my screens. That's it. And it will do it. And it will do that in real time. So that part is easy. The challenge now becomes, how do you take that information and unpack it in a way where it actually becomes structured data, which is what we're talking about. So it could go into a proper column with guarantee. Okay, that's the key word, with guarantee that it's going to do it consistently every single time. That's the key. Okay, so I'm gonna recap this slide, and then I'm gonna show you like a real example of how you would do it, because you can't trust the AI. I just want to be clear with this. You cannot trust the AI. Okay, they're rogue, random, weird people. if you think of them as people. Okay, one day they will be like your friend, and then another day they're gonna literally bite you. Which AI model did you use behind the scenes, and how much will it cost? Oh, this is a fantastic question, my friend. That is a really, really good question. You're gonna put me onto something that I do have in mind and talking about. This is fantastic. But to answer your question on the very immediate, I'm gonna go do a whole deep dive about costing, because this stuff costs money. The AI that I'm using behind the scenes is the cheapest AI model right now that's good, which is well, I say cheapest is relative. Okay, the cheapest that I'm willing to sort of, the cheapest that I want to put my money on, which is GPT 5.4 mini. Okay, I'm using mini because mini is very cheap and it's the more modern model, so it actually does a really good job with fairly complex things. And if you're dealing with speech to text type of stuff, all day long, that model would work fantastic. Okay, but when you have to do more complex things, you have to upgrade the model. We're going to talk about that in a sec. I promise you, we're going to talk about that. In fact, let me give you a teaser on that one, because I really appreciate your question, and I appreciate everybody that's asking questions, by the way, because you're helping me to make it. You're helping me to know that my, like, what I'm saying is kind of resonating. Even though we got a small audience. So I want to show you something else, which is another fundamental principle that I have. Okay, which is when you do those uploaders, everybody's done this, right? Like somebody say upload your data to an Excel spreadsheet, and when you upload the data, they ask you to map the fields between first name to their first name. Like you might have a name column and they might have first name, right? You might have company and they have business, so you just have to like do that mapping. My belief is that that's a thing of the past. You should never ever have to do that. Okay, so I built this system here with the same principle that I'm about to show you in that conversion layer thingy, that literally you can upload a PDF, or you could upload any, and I genuinely mean any spreadsheet that has name columns or of any single sort, and the system will figure it out. Why? How is it going to figure it out? Because it's going to run through a whole series of process to iterate until it figures out the right columns to put the data in, with guarantee that it's going to do it right every single time. That's the key. Okay, I want to be clear with this. That is, if you can drop any Excel into ChatGPT right now and it'll give you the column names. But if you drop it in 100 times, maybe 1 or 2 times, it might give you different column names, because you can't guarantee the order or the column names that it's going to go into. What I'm doing behind the scenes is guarantee that it's going to go in the right column names every single time. Okay, so we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about a little bit about how the costing model is thing. So that's a teaser. All right. So again, so now that we kind of got this concept that we have to, right, like dictation, we're kind of still in this level here. Real-time dictation is going to give us unstructured text, right? It's just going to give us voice talking into the computer. And then from there, we're going to have unstructured text in our app. Okay. So with that, right, we got raw input. Okay. That raw input is going to turn into speech to text, which in my particular case, it's just on the screen, right? You're seeing it in real time versus having like having the system do it on the back end, right? So because the browser already has speech to text built in, so that's why we're doing it like that, right? So speech to text, it just makes sense. Let the browser do the work if it can, right? So, but the problem with that is that I have raw text, okay, which is not very useful unless you're just going to keep selling it to an LLM every single time. But if you keep sending it to the LLM every single time, the results might vary. So you always have to kind of figure out how to turn that back into structured content. That's the key every single time, and you have to be it has to be reliable. So with that, right, that's why we're going to do this context thing. We're gonna pair the input, the raw text, with so I should actually have another one inside of here. So, geez, no, what's going on here? Why is my hand? Oh my god, what, really? Okay, here we go. So there's one other thing I need to put inside of here, which is this here. So you're gonna take the raw input, the raw text, you're gonna sandwich it, literally, it's literally that. You're gonna sandwich it with the other content, okay? Because it's just all text, right? It's at the end of the day, it's just all text. So you're gonna sandwich the context, which is what your app is about, right? Let me just write that so it's just very clear. What your app is about, okay? So you're gonna sandwich it with that flow. Did I make that white? Yeah, sure. Okay. And then what your app is about, that's the context. The intent is like basically what you want to do. What you want to do. Okay. So you're going to put the intent inside of there. You're going to have the raw text, which obviously came from the user's mouth. And then you're going to ask it for a very specific format. Okay. Response. And the formatted response, in most cases, you're asking it to return JSON, right? It's not all the time, but it's basically JSON format. So you're going to say, hey, return me JSON, which again, it's just text, right? Right? But more structured. Okay, that's your format every single time. And this is literally, for my developers in a room, is string concatenation. You're just concatenating a bunch of strings. For plain people in English, you're literally just putting all the strings and grouping them together. Okay, and that's what goes into your prompt every time. Okay, and you do that. The good news is OpenAI, if you're using OpenAI, we're going to use OpenAI today. OpenAI support JSON. Okay. So OpenAI or not Open API, which is another thing, by the way. OpenAI, there's a company called OpenAI, supports structured model outputs. Okay, so this is the thing that you okay. So structured model output literally it just returns JSON reliably. So in the early days, you would get back text that looks like JSON, but it's kind of fake JSON. And then you'd have to kind of manipulate it in order to kind of get it back into like a JSON format. And you'd have to use a tool like JSON repair. So for those who don't know, JSON repair is is a tool that helps you to literally does what it does, repairs JSON, right? Add missing quotes, add exception, blah, blah, blah. Now you don't have to do that anymore. That's all done. Okay, those are old school days. Okay, OpenAI for sure, and I'm pretty certain all the other LLM models will return. You give it a schema, you say this is the JSON format that I want you to think, and it will guarantee return back that format, and that's the key. Okay. Hey Dwayne, who is the competitor for SnapSuite and pros and cons of this stop solution? Well, okay, so the tool I'm showing you is actually not called SnapSuite. It's actually called LeadScore AI, but SnapSuite is my other company, which is thing. But so I know you're talking about this tool, but you wouldn't know that. I'm just letting you know about that. It's a fair question, because I have a folder here of all my competitors. There's a few of them. They're coming online. I'm watching them. I'm watching very carefully. We should talk about a competitors analysis type of thing. Where the hell is it? No, where am I? We're at LeadScore AI. Competitors. There we are. Look, I got a whole folder full of them. I watch them every day. Okay. These guys, Nooks, which is basically this one here is pretty close. AI sequencing, AI call dialer, signals, and coach. So we're doing about the same thing for the most part, but they're trying to, I won't get into the details, but they're doing drag and drop forms and AI sequencing and stuff like that. We're going to be doing the same thing as well too. It's just that I have very fundamental belief in how it should be done. This is the only difference, okay? I'm very opinionated about how this should be done going forward. And the hint is, it's not you dragging and dropping a whole bunch of UI controls on a screen. I'm sorry. Okay, like you should not have to do that to the AI anymore. You should just be able to tell the AI what I want to do. Okay, so what I mean by that is, and then I'll get off this topic because I could talk about this forever. It's a fair question. So you can so AI sequencing built for modern. Can I sign up here? No, I can't. I got to request a demo. Anyway, they have a sequencer, and it's a visual sequencer where you can kind of drag and drop and put different controls and stuff like that. I saw it in one of their videos. I forget where it is, but anyway, so I'm like, why do you have to do that? It's just pointless. Just tell AI what you want to do and let it just work out the diagram, and then you could just tell it to tweak it accordingly or whatever it is. So I'm very opinionated about that. But that's not the only single thing. The other thing is these guys don't do emailing. And I'm building a system, right, like this lead score that I'm building, or Snapsuite, whichever you want to call it. I'm very serious about this. It's so they could send out 1 million emails per month. That is my absolute goal. I'm not there yet because there's still a little bit of work to be done, but it's so that the system can systematically send out 1 million emails per month. That's per account, by the way. That's not per in total. That's per account, without you having to flinch. All right. So sorry. Okay. So hopefully I answered that question for a bit. At Mimo, whole market research right there. Square sometimes. We are diverting a lot. Sorry. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to. Does this dictate other languages? You know what? This is a good question. The answer is yes. The AI does have built-in, it understands language. I don't, but it does. So yes, it does understand languages. Can you demonstrate the drag? Can you demonstrate the drag and drop teaser? Oh, this is funny. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep on track here because I've been accused of just jumping in all different directions. I'll try to keep on track and I'll do one more thing. So on the drag and drop stuff, everybody knows the drag and drop. So there's nothing really to see about it other than let me see if I could find a lead that I have inside of here. So I gotta find something that's actually relevant. Let me see. So onboarding, review text. So here's the thing about the drag and drop. What can I actually put in here that I didn't put already, or that I could just re-put the same thing? CSV, trade association. There we go. Okay, yeah. So if I drag and drop it, it literally just is. It just looks like any other drag and drop system. There's nothing fancy about it. Okay. It has a bunch of tags, so I could put these as hot leads, or I could put my own tag. This is trade association. I know that trade association. Okay, if I do that, and then I basically put a note. These are trade associations for my business. Okay, trade associations for my business, right? And I put the deal size and I just click on import, and that's it. And that's all it does. The system will just take any single thing. That's how it's designed. And it's from there, you don't have to think about it. It just does the work in the behind to figure it out. There's a lot of complexities on how it does it, but you could come in here and kind of see the progress of it and see like what it's actually doing. And then you can see whether it's scoring the leads and all that kind of stuff. Like that's kind of the idea. But the truth is, at the surface, it just looks like a normal file uploader. But the problem is that the file uploader can be in any different format across a different system. And so how do you guarantee that you could always get the data out of it? And that's really the complexity. And to give you one other color to that, what it's doing is, first, it just accepts the form and it puts it up into a storage account and it just keeps it there. And then there's a background job that goes and picks it up, inspects it, gets all the column names, and then compares it to my column names internally. And then it'll do a programmatic match up of any names that is like word for word it could find. If it figures that out and it finds those names, then it moves on to the next level. And it's going to say, hey, I got a bunch of names that I don't know what they're for, because they don't make any sense. They don't match up any of my names. So I'm going to compose. I'm going to get the first 10 records of the table at a high level. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically send it over to a small ChatGPT and say, hey, can you give me the best recommendations for these column names based on my column names? And then it's going to make some comparison. And then I'm going to do that and rerun my script to see if I can match up it properly. And then for fact checking, then I send it to a bigger LLM that's cost more money to say, hey, I've done this. This is what my code have done. This is what the AI has done. Can you fact check it and tell me which one wins based on the data? And then it literally does a comparison back and forth. So it's always consistent. And then from there, it basically turns it into structured data and then send it in. So it's a lot of stuff going in the background, but it literally just boils down to use the cheap LLMs for cheap conversion fact checked in, and then use the let it do sort of like its own analysis, and then use a bigger LLM to do like a fact check of the small LLM, if that makes sense. And there you could be very consistent in getting really, really consistent results. So yeah, just a little backstory on that one. Okay, so hopefully we kind of got this point now, right? So we got all these context, intent, raw data, formatted data. We're going to compose it all together. We're going to put it into one single prompt. And again, to show you that prompt, right? If you go to, I went to ChatGPT before. So let's just do it one again. I'll just do it because I'm jumping and there's new people in here. So I want to just make sure that I kind of show it in a way that makes sense, right? So do a search, come in here. I'm going to do, I'm going to say another dictation again. I'm just going to say, hey, can you do a demonstration? We need to do a demo for this client because they're interested in the text-to-speech translation service. And what we really want to do is showcase how efficient and easy it is to embed in any single application. And I think that this will be a moneymaker for them. Okay, so it starts the AI process, going to review it, done. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what the backend prompt looks like for that based on this context that we just talked about here, right? So without going into the code. So, okay, so it just what it did right, it said, hey, can we do a demonstration, ? We need to do a demo for this client because they're interested in the text-to-speech translation. So it got that wrong. It should say text-to-speech translation service. We want to showcase whatever. And by the way, I have ways to kind of solve these problems where it kind of does random things out of whack, right? Is you can tell it this application only focuses on HVAC, plumbing, and electrical type companies. So any word that you don't recognize, you could highlight it, or you could tell it it must fall within these words because the user won't be talking about, I don't know, hospitals when they're talking about construction, right? Or something like that, right? Or maybe they would, right? But you get the idea. So, okay, so now that we have that, let's go look at ChatGPT AI platform. And I'm going to answer the question actually specifically about money because there's a cost factor to all of this stuff, right? Like what happens if you dramatically allow all of your users to just input data into your application at scale? What happens and how do you charge for it, which is something I've been really thinking about. So if you go to use logs and completion, and we go to output, logs here again, and I won't focus on this too much, but I just want to show you that this is what's happening. This is the same thing here, right? It's literally just taking the context, the intent, the raw data, and then it's returning it in formatted context. Okay, so sorry. Oh my goodness, did I lose it again? I always do that, eh? You know what I noticed actually? It's not me, it's them. Every time I'm going to test it right now. Oh, here, sorry. I'm killing myself. It's one of the blue tabs. Okay, here. So is this the one this is the latest one? Let me just make sure. Yes. Okay, so this is the latest, right? So what it's doing now, it's, again, I won't spend too much time on this, but the first part is the system role. You are a blah, 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 right? You are a senior communications editor for a sales-facing company. Always that prompt would send. So that's the context. Then we have the prompt, which is the intent, right? Which is rewrite the provided text for the specific intent and context. Okay. Then I have more intent data, which is this is your professional writer, blah, blah, blah. So it's a little more intent. And then here's the intent with the actual details. And then this is just more context. So you see here, it says context RAG. RAG stands for retrieval augmented generation, which is a fancy term to say, here is some data that is more relevant to this thing that I'm trying to do. So I need you to kind of put that. And I always send the full profile of the company, all the details. Okay. In fact, I'm oversending details in this particular case. I shouldn't have to do all this. To cut costs, you could slim down some of this information, but this is really just first draft. And then you have the raw input, which we talked about, right? So that's this guy here, right? The actual red input. And then we have the response, which is what I'm asking for, right? Which is this part here. Okay. So hopefully everybody gets that, right? It's literally just squashing a bunch of random text together in a way that just makes sense for the AI to just basically be able to do this consistently and reliably every single time. Okay, so let's move forward a little bit now. Now that we kind of have this part, any questions on this? If you guys got questions, let me know, put it in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to move forward, right? So I sent that over to the LLM, and LLM gets it, or at least understands it, and it's going to respond, as I mentioned to you, in a structured format, right? Because I ask it to specifically return JSON data, right? And so with that, my code is just going to pick that up, right? It's going to just take the JSON and it's going to do a fact check on it. Just to be clear, just to make sure that everybody understands, and not everybody in the room is a developer, but maybe you guys are today. You're just going to do things that if I'm looking for first name and email address, like in the case of like an importer, it's just going to listen. It's going to say, is it null? Is null, right? Right? Or is it empty? Is it empty? Right? It's just going to ask, is this empty? Do I have a value here? Do I have an email address? Do I have it? And if not, rerun the process again. Like, don't give me invalid data, but when you're rerunning it the next time over to the AI and you're running this prompt, your first instructions is going to be, please fix this, right? Like you're just going to put it big and bright in the prompt. You're just going to say, please fix this, and double check your work to make sure that you're guarantee returning proper all of the fields and all of the data from before, right? Like there's ways to do it. So you just keep rerunning the same thing until you get it in. Because again, the LLMs are non-deterministic, fancy word for saying they're stupid. Meaning that they don't guarantee the same output every single time, right? That's basically what it means. So that's what you're gonna do, right? You got a problem here. You say, okay, cool, no problem. That's cool. You bring me crap data. I'm gonna give you back crap. So I'm gonna send this back over to you. Go fix your crap, man. Get it done, right? And then you do that enough times, it'll come back correct, because you can tell it once again. So charging will be on the subscription, maybe a limit on regular users for twice a day. Yes. So you definitely don't want to have it repeating the same thing over and over. So you have to be smart about making sure when to do this or when not to do this. That comes in the pricing thing. But let's talk about pricing, because you asked that question and I appreciate you engaging and answering things. So let's talk about pricing. So what you're going to do now, because you need to know how much is this stuff going to cost you, okay? So first of all, let's talk about the recommendation before we talk about pricing. LLMs, always use the cheapest model. And when I say always use the cheapest model, the cheapest, smallest models all the time. Use the mini models. MINI models first. Okay? Just trust me on this one. The mini models are not the mini models of yesterday. They're really, really good. Like a GPT 5.4, which is what I'm using as my default model for all of this stuff. Okay? So GPT 5.4 MINI. Okay, let's go run the numbers just so we could talk about it for a second. Okay, and I want to show you a whole system I've been working, because I spent some time on this one. I legit spent it, because like I'm a business person, I got to make money on this stuff, right? So a GPT 5.4 model. Let's just do it in ChatGPT. Let's just do it this way. Can you give me the pricing for GPT 5.4 mini, and then also give me the price for GPT 5.5 and Opus 4.7 and Sonnet 4.6? Okay, so let's see. So is the live stream for developers or anyone? Anyone, sir. Anyone. Anybody that's a business person that's trying to do businessy stuff, that cares about developing, but also cares about making it running a business. Because I'm both. I'm a developer and I'm a business person. So you're welcome, my friend. Join in. We talk business some days and we talk technical some days, and then I try to teach you the in-between of how to do both together properly at scale. So thanks for asking the question, Mr. Oh my goodness, Elaj. Did I get that right? Okay, so let's talk about costs. We're always talking business, but in the context of a developer. Okay. So yeah, okay, so it's 0.75 cents per million token, input 0.75 cents, okay? So for per million token, let me just see, okay, forget about this cash. So output is $4.50 per million token, okay? So the problem with this is that it's hard for you, it's like, what is a million token? Nobody has any clue. Okay, and just for reference, because not everybody knows this stuff, we're just going to highlight this for a second. And if you're non-technical, like Elaj, I think you are. If you're non-technical, you are think of a token as a word, like literally one word equals a token. That's not 100% true for my really technical people. They'll be like, "What the hell are you talking about? The token is not a word." Yes, I understand that. But for my non-technical people, you can think of a token as a word, okay? How did you enter the prompt so fast? Using, you use audio? Yes, so that's right. So what I did was, let me redo it again. So I'm gonna say, Elaj just asked me a question about how did I use the prompt so fast? So that's what I'm doing. I'm using a audio text-to-speech system, all right? So that's what I'm doing, right? The tool that I'm using for that is called Wise Flow. If you want to know, oh my goodness, I never can remember the name of this stupid tool because it spell it in a way that my brain doesn't click with it. But yes, it's called. So yeah, I type my average speed about 145 words per minute using this tool. Fantastic tool. It's called Whisper Flow. Where is it? I hate that they never show the full name because it's the weirdest thing. Look at this. Look, what's new? Okay, this is gonna go to their website. WISPRFlow.li if you really want to know. Okay, I'll drop it in chat for you. Okay, I digress. But yes, I never type anymore. It's a waste of time. It's too slow. Okay, we got stuff to do here, so we don't have time to waste typing. Where are we? Come on. Where was I? Where's my here? Money. Right. Okay, I digress. We're back on the money front. So again, just my non-technical people for a second. One token equals one word. So a million token, a million words. Okay. How much is a million words? Right? How many pages? How many pages is a million token? Okay, just to get some rough idea, okay? 750,000 words, all right? So that's the equivalent, a single space document, that's the equivalent of 1,500 pages, okay? It's, when you buy paper, you get about, think you only get 500 of that, right? At 500 words per page, you get one of those thing. It's 3 of those stacked, okay? So 3 paper, if I want to do paper, Amazon. Okay, this is what I'm talking about here. Everybody knows this stuff, right? 3 of these, literally. That okay, that's a million token for the price of 75 cents input, and then output 450. So in other words, it's $4.50 to give me 3 packs of paper. That's how much it's going to cost me. So to go back to Mr. Tech 30 Plus question, All right. Um, I would. My users would have to be doing an insane amount of I'm doing this in real time. My users would have to be doing an insane amount of text to speech conversion for this to be costing me any sort of real substantial amount of data. And maybe if I'm doing this at scale and I have 1 million users, maybe it'll start to cost me. But at this particular point, it's basically cheap. Like it's basically free. Okay. Now, that being said, okay, now this is going to translate into some kind of weird stuff because I'm just saying a whole bunch of random stuff, right? But I'm just trying to show you the process. I'm going to show you now on the back end side, okay? At the moment, I'm doing this in real time. The user would have to generate an enormous amount of text to speech, right? Okay, so that's the data there. Okay, so now let's go into the detailed question now. So on the cost, right? So first of all, you're going to use a GPT Mini, right? We mentioned that before. Versus, if you use the highest model, Opus 4.7, is $25, significantly more expensive, or GPT 5.0, $30, right? Like that's expensive, okay? Now, is it more expensive than paper? How much is the paper at Amazon? Look, $33, look at that. Okay, so the most expensive model is about the size of literally the price of real paper today. So that's a visual for your brain to kind of think about, right? So, but what we care about, and this is the interesting thing. All right, I'm gonna give you what I've been working on and thinking about for this entire process, because I've been thinking about this for a while. Okay, so at first glance, right, being a business person, familiar with the concept of keystone pricing. If you're not, keystone pricing just means you just double whatever it is, basically, right? So that you get 50% margins, just period. Okay, so in other words, if I buy I don't know, if I sell something at Walmart for $50, right, or I bought it for $50, I'll sell it for $100, right? That's kind of the rough translation. Okay, so so my first inclination when I was thinking about pricing and costs was to well, if these guys are going to charge me 75 cents per token, I just charge what is that, 150 per million token, just double it, right? Not so fast. Why? There's a couple of hidden stuff underneath here that you need to be thinking about. Number one is costs of storing and logging the information, the bandwidth. There's a few other things that you have to kind of think about. So you can't really think of it that way. So to come up with sort of like a mental model of how I've been thinking about it is I've been trying to think of it in the way of like converting that to something that could actually make money. Because at the end of the day, if you build an AI business, you're really in the business of selling tokens. That's in its corest, in its most simplest format I could possibly describe it. You're in the business of selling tokens. So I experimented. What if I have like a 90% margin on token costs, right? What this thing is suggesting that I do is basically have pricing tiers based on the type of models that I'm using. So if I'm using a cost saver model, I might 3x the price. Okay, so if you take that same 75 cents per million token, you bring it right down to its actually like real bottom, is you would do it. It would be like this. Okay, so if I 3x the cost, it would be 0.2 cents or whatever it is. Okay, and I would build them. 0.6 cents, right? So this is a 60% margin type of deal, or I could 5x the cost, or if I want to do it at a premium level at 90%, right? So the point is here is that what I'm really trying to do is come up with like, what is the raw cost to actually be able to truly per token, because you got to get it down to per token cost, and then build it up from there. So this is the cheapest. What you want to do is you want to take those raw costs and convert them into credits so you could sell your users credits. So in other words, a million token on a cheap model is really about 200 credits. That's the rough translation. Okay. It'll cost me about $1.75 200 credits is what I want to sell the user. Now, how am I getting this information? How am I figuring this out? I won't go into too much details here. I'm probably going to do another video specifically on this because, you know, it's not math, it's more business. But what I will say is the way that I'm thinking about things right now is whatever ChatGPT is costing me per token, I will either 3x it, 5x it, or 10x it. Okay, depending on the model and depending on the type of work that I'm doing. If I'm using a mini model all day long, I'll just 3x it, right? Or I might 10x it, because I might say, you know what, I'll make more money on my 10x. On what's going on with my camera, man? Jeez, hang on a second. For some reason my annoying. Hang on a second, guys. My thing keeps going out every time. I don't know why. Okay, so I just gotta fix my TikTok camera. Hang on 1 second. Just some weird stuff happening with my FaceTime. Okay, there we go. And then I could just flip it back to the camera. Okay, apply again. Okay, think I'm back at this time. Yeah, I think I'm back. So yeah, so again, you wanna be really thinking about how to, like, just the simple rule of thumb, just to keep this conversation very simple without going into too much details. The simple rule of thumb is whatever the AIs are costing you in terms of token, 3x it at its lowest, but I would really suggest that you 5x it or 10x the cost. And that should just be your thing, your standard thing. Okay, hang on, reading the questions here. You need to include DB costs like Superbase and example. Yes, and exactly same. Yeah. Now, to be fair, this is going to be on top of your monthly subscription. Okay, so don't confuse token costs with monthly subscription. In fact, you should keep them separate. What do I mean by that? So I have some examples here this is rough. Okay, just take this with a grain of salt. Okay, if I'm charging at somebody $29 per month, right? I might give them about $2,900 worth of credit. Okay, and if I did that, let's call it $3,000 worth of credit, it would cost me for the LLM on the back end $2.90. So I still have $26 gross margin on a $29 plan. So this gives me a breathing room so that it allows a small user to be able to use the system like how I'm using it with lots of thing, and they will be able to get, for that $2, they'll be able to get 1 million tokens. In other words, three papers, you know, whatever you call spool of paper, I don't know what you call that, of paper, right, for that $29, and I'm still okay. And I could factor in my $5 for Superbase, as Text30 mentioned to me, right? My $5 for my for cost, and still have leftover margin per customer. I just want to be clear with that. So this is not overall on your business. This is just per customer pricing, so that you can make sure that you're always making money, right? On a $99 per month plan, I have even more margin, right? Because you know, I could sell it at 10,000 credits, and I could make $9. That my cost would be, let's call it $10, right, on that, and my gross margin would be $89, right? So this is roughly a 90% margin on thing. On a $345 per month pricing, I could give my users 34,000 credits, which is going to cost me $34. I still make 90% margin. That's going to give me a gross margin of $3.10, right? And so I have enough margin to be able to pay for my database, pay for my logs, pay for my all the other stuff that's storing that information. Okay, I'm going to show you guys something that I normally wouldn't show on camera, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. But I just got to pull it out my database because I want to actually give you access to show you the database live, which would be insane. Okay, but I'm going to show you what I'm doing with that data. So while I'm doing that, we talk about it. Okay, so we established you use a mini model. Okay. So 90% of the work, you're going to use a mini model to do your stuff first. And then what you're going to do is you're going to have some sort of, so it's all the way back here, but I won't go back here for this conversation here. You're going to have something in your code that's basically because it knows the context of the request that's coming in. You, the human being, is going to have something that's going to evaluate the let's call it evaluate the use case. Yeah, right. And then decide model. You know what? Better way to describe this is a model picker. Okay, you need to have a model picker in your code. What is a model picker? It's literally the code that's going to say, oh, you're trying to send an email. I should probably use one of my bigger models for that because, you know, I don't want to write a crappy email for you. I want to write something that's actually going to be able to like close deals for you in my particular case or do whatever. So I'm going to give you my high model for this one task, right?
Here is your reminder.
Computer,
stop.
So, right. But on the other hand, I'm trying to do like just say, just rewrite some text. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to give you my cheap model so we can keep doing that. Okay. So that's kind of the idea, right? So with that in mind, every single time your model picker routes the request, it's going to save. So it's going to pick the model, right? In this particular, so let's do it this way. So it's going to do this. Okay. Pick the model, and then it's going to do, right? It's going to say, okay, let's just make this up. So it's going to say dictation, dictation, right? I'm going to give you the cheap model, right? Because I don't want it. Dictation is not going to cost. It's not too much. It doesn't require a lot of to rewrite a sentence. It's not that big of a deal, right? It's just doing some stuff. Okay. However, if I'm again going back with the same example here, if I'm going to write an email, right? I'm going to give you my, let's do Opus just for the sake of being fair here. Okay. Let's do Claude. Opus 4.7. Okay. Because I just want to, you know, I want the best email I possibly can get from the LLM. So I'm just going to give you my Claude, right? So this is email. Right? So my model picker is going to do that work for me underneath, and it's just a switch statement, right? It's just an if and else statement. If you're doing this, then do this. If you're doing this, right? So best model. Right? So if you do that, you can really mitigate your costs because you're just picking models based on what you're doing on the back end. And then when the results come back, so this is the part that I really want to get to because I'm trying to get to text 30 question here, which is around, well, how do you know how much it's going to cost you? So when the results come back, okay, from either model, doesn't really matter, okay, it's going to tell you the cost, the cost in tokens. Right? The token cost. It's going to tell you how many tokens and it's going to tell you the cost. So you will know that information at all times. So here's where I'm recommending that everybody does, because this is what I did this week here because I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this right now so I don't have to think about it in the future. What I did was I basically just got a spreadsheet of all of the costs for all of the models that I care about for my application. Okay, I don't care about every model. I care about the models for my application. All right. So I got all those costs. I put them, you know, I say I, but obviously the AI wrote the code for it. And I basically put them in a table. And then I say, whatever the cost is, okay, I don't give a Kurt's rat's behind about what the cost is, but I say, whatever the cost is, okay, I want you to calculate the 3x. I want you to calculate the 5x. Okay, and I want you to calculate the 10x. All the time, every single time, okay? And then when you do that, you're gonna store it in my database. Okay, so right now you're gonna store it in my database. Okay, so at this particular point, I don't have to make a choice about how I'm gonna charge my customers or whatever, right? I can come up with a business model. And I could see how much cost is coming in, occurring for my new service that I know nothing about. Like who knows, what the real cost is of token. Even Microsoft is figuring this out right now, right? So which we could talk about. So I'm gonna get all that data coming in on my database, and then I'm just gonna log it. All right. And I'm going to keep it there for a while. I'm going to pay monitoring attention to it. And then I'm going to aggregate the cost per user. And then eventually I'll be like, yo, you're killing my model, bro. Like you got to pay more, right? Like that's what I'll do. Okay. So, Paul work from home. So for model picker, you tell it what model it should use based on the use case. Bam. You're my man. That's exactly what you do. All right. So to give you more color, every one of the screens in this application knows exactly the use case that it's for, right? This is a text box specific for writing notes about a lead. So I give it a tag. I give it a tag of lead underscore notes. That's the tag, right? That's the tag. And then for this one here, this email, I give it on a tag of lead underscore email, right? What do I do with that? I take that and I translate it into a prompt. This is actually good. I should put this out here so you could see, so just to highlight that model picker thingy, because that's a good question, Mr. Paul. So it's like this, right? So these are my tags, okay? And then I say lead underscore, and then what do they on the back end? They lead to a prompt, specialized prompt. Again, we talked about that just a while ago, right? Specialized prompt based on thing. So on the front end, just to be clear with this too, I'm not actually sending the prompt every single time from the front end. All I'm saying is, hey, go do a lookup, an AI API, use the API to get me a lead prompt. And the backend is going to basically say, okay, let me go get the customer details. Let me go get the record that I need to put together the context, right? Let me go get my intent information, and let me go think, which is all text just sitting on the back end of your API. Don't put it on the front end, put it on the back end, right? Put it in a Cloudflare worker, let it stay in the back end there, and then you don't have to think. And just to drive home that point, let me see if I can pull it up pretty fast. I'm gonna try. Just to drive home that point, let me see if I can rider. I'll try to see if I could do it, just so you guys get a real hands-on, because it's like sometimes it's like this abstract, right? This very abstract kind of way of thinking about things. Let me see. So let me see if I could. VNext. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So come on. Okay. So we're gonna do. Oh my goodness, what is going on with my camera? Jeez, Brett. Sorry guys, I don't know what's happening with my camera today. It's just yeah, so TikTok just went out again. Hang on a second, one second. I got it. I know how to do it. I know how to do this. I know how to do it. FaceTime. Apply. Black Magic. Apply. Okay, we're back. So geez, too many code. Let me see if I can do it really fast, and if not, then I'll think. So it'll be under, you know what, my mental model of this code base on this computer on this particular thing is not the best. So let me bring out the big guns. I'm gonna bring out the big guns. Okay, hang on. Just so at least you understand. Now, I'm not trying to show you code so you could see what the code is. I'm trying to just show you how you would structure it in the prompt, because it kind of helps. It kind of helps. So let me see. Okay, so I need to. Okay, hang on. Close all this crap, and then I'll make it bigger so you can see it in a sec. Just give me a second here. So first, let me close off all this stuff here. Then you can see the prompt in general. So background, we need background. And then we need AI, and then we need okay, hang on. I got it. I know where we're going. AI engine. There we go. Is it this one? Intelligence, interface, handlers. There we go. And then we're looking for context, business, email outreach handler, maybe. Yes. Okay. There we go. Yeah. So look at, okay, so let me see if I can make this big enough to make it actually worthwhile. Okay, super big, okay? I think that should be visible. But, so it's like this. Okay, hang on, can I uncheck this? Yeah. Okay, and let me see if I can make this even bigger. Oh, maybe that's too big. Okay, hang on, 200. Okay, so it's like this, right? Forget about all the fancy stuff around it. All I'm doing is literally just composing a string. System append. What am I appending? System role. What is the role? I put the role in. User role. What is the role? I put in. Assistant role, etc. Prompt template. Okay, this is my prompt template here for this particular template, right? I put a line break. See, that's all I'm doing. I just put a line break here. Okay. System instructions. This is the system instructions. This is the context for the rag. This is the content, right? I'm literally just appending a string. Any language, any single way, you could just do it exact same thing. And this is just one file that just has all of the prompt for this particular prompt instructions. Okay, so nobody can do prompt injection because they're not writing prompts. I'm creating the prompts every single time. So what I'm really doing, hopefully that makes sense. Come on. Where are we at here? So what I'm really doing is the front end says, hey, can you get me a lead note prompt? And then the backend says, yeah, I know what to do with that. I'm going to route you to the lead node prompt, and I'm going to compose that lead node prompt. This allows me to go in there and tweak the prompts accordingly. If I see weird stuff happening on the front end, I can just keep tweaking it until I get it right, right? All I want to know is I just want a lead, and that's where, honestly, you don't do it with the LLM. Once you get the prompt right or half right, you just go in there, you manually tweak it. That's when you actually need your fingers, okay? And then I say, okay, can you get me an email prompt? But with email prompt, I know that I'm going to send this one to my cheap model, right? THEAP. And then with the email model, I know I'm going to send it to my expensive prompt, right? That's built into the router and just the routing code. That's all it is. It's just basically just, oh, you want an email? Okay, I'm just going to give you GPT, Claude Opus. You want a note? I'm just going to give you 5.4 mini. Okay, so with that, again, they're going to give me back some costs, and then I'm going to show you what that guy look like. So just a thing, okay? So again, I'm doing OpenAI because ChatGPT OpenAI, right, has it. So this is the logs for OpenAI. This is literally what the logs look like. You come in here, the logs, and you see all of the logs of all the different prompts, okay? And then on the back end, what I'm doing now is, as I mentioned to you, is I now take that and I just have a code that's just basically 3xing whatever they give me. Okay, because they're going to give me the cost. So I don't have to think about the cost. They actually give me the cost. But, sorry, they don't give me the cost. They give me the tokens, the amount of tokens. But I know their cost. So I calculate the cost of this actual query, right? And then I dump it into my database. And let me just show you what that looks like on the database side. Docs, new docs, document. Okay, I'm going to paste it in here, and then I'm going to try to make it as big as I possibly can. Because it like, the entire details doesn't really matter. It's just, and then can I turn this sideways? I swear every time I come in here, I was like, what the hell is this tool? It feels like 1997 to me. Yeah, I don't know. Where is it? Landscape? How do you change things to landscape? I'm just forgetting everything. Page setup, is it? I don't know. Okay, can't figure. Oh yeah, there we go. Page setup. Landscape, there we go. Okay, try that. So prompt, we know all the prompt, right? So we don't have to worry about all this details, okay? So this is what it's going to send me back. Let me see if I could, maybe I can make this just part, because this is all we care about here, just this. Okay, so this here, make it big. Let me see. Yeah, okay, yeah, there we go. I could see something. Okay, so yeah, so here, Okay, so module. So here, this is the model. I sent it the model. Now you have to set it like the temperature. You don't have to, but I set the temperature because I want to play around with all this stuff. And then I tell it, hey, I don't want to spend more than 4,000 tokens on this request. So I tell it that. I'm like, don't, like, just cool your horses, okay? I'm not a millionaire. And then frequency and all that kind of blah, 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 right? Okay. So now it comes back with all the details from the results, right? Which we don't really care about for this conversation. We just care about the cost. So, where are you? Can you demonstrate the email writer? Okay, I got you. Okay, so here. So let me see if again, I'm going to try to make this bigger so you could at least just kind of see it a little bit better. And then, so bold, big enough, hopefully big enough. So, okay, right? So here, this is the part that's important. Their GPT tells me this. They're like, hey, this thing costs you 2,900 and 2,700 tokens. So I can't do the maths in my head. I'm just gonna do it on GPT. If I use 2,700 tokens, how much is that gonna cost me if I use GPT Mini? Give for all the different models. Just tell me the exact cost on the models. Okay, just because, right? Come on, baby. Let's go. I don't need a thinking model for this. I just need a basic thing. Okay, here we go, right? So how much is it going to cost me on input? 0.002025. That's for GPT Mini. So even if I use the most expensive model, it's going to cost me 0.013, like literally 1 cent on my most expensive model for that specific job. Right? So that's like an email. An email cost me 0.01 cents to send out. Yeah, I'm doing that all day long because I want the best email to like do sales in this particular case, right? So that's the game, right? But now I know this. So again, as I told you guys before, what's the game here? You want to 3x or 5x your costs, all right? You want to do that. You want to say, okay, you know what? Yeah, on the cheap end, sure, I can make 60% profit margin, but why make 60 when you can make 90? Just be greedy, right? I'm just kidding. You guys know I'm kidding. But yeah, right? Like you want to set up a business model that makes sense, all right? So, because the last thing you want to do is figure out that you got downstream costs that's just like hammering you, okay? I'm gonna stray away for 1 second here, okay? Because GitHub just did this recently. This is the craziest thing. By the way, this is happening for real because I use GitHub every single thing. As of June 1st, in case you guys don't know, they're moving to quote unquote a token-based pricing. Okay, see this? GitHub Copilot is moving to a usage-based pricing. What does that mean? They're gonna be start charging you for every damn token that you send to these people. Okay, because now the subsidies are done. All right, the free ride is over. No more free ride for all you loafers out there. That's me, by the way, because I've been free riding really hard on these models. Okay, so look at this. Look at these stupid numbers here. Where is it? Is it this one? No, it's not this one here. Look at this. Okay. Yeah, model multiplier table. Oh wait, hang on. Did they? Oh my goodness, they changed. Did they really? Usage bill for individual. My goodness, they changed the table. Damn people. They must have gotten kickback. Let me see. Hang on. And before I accuse them of stuff. Hang on a second. They changed the damn table. Where the hell is it? They changed the table. They changed the table. Just bear with me for 1 second here because I want to show you the image of their multipliers. How would I find it? How would I find that? Google, GitHub increases rate as a Jew term. I want to see the multipliers. I want to see the multipliers. Is it this one? Yeah, here. This one. Okay. Look at this. Look, just so you understand, okay? Like, this is the largest company in the world that was originally, when I started out with them, I was paying $10 a month. All right. And now I'm up $200. And I just upgraded to their enterprise plan because they're throttling me on all the small plans. So I'm like, I know they're not going to throttle the enterprise customers, so I need to be where the money people are at, even though I don't have money. So look at this, okay? The current multiplier right now was 33.33 cents per model. And the new multiplier, okay, for the for Haiku is for the same thing, okay? They didn't do any single thing there. The one that I care about, which is Opus 4.6, and most people care about, was a 3x multiplier. They're jumping that to 27x. That's insane. Okay? They're literally going from a 3x to a 27x increase. It's like a 9x. It's like, what are you doing? Right? 4.7 was 15x. They're charging 27x. The free ride of tokens is done. So you absolutely have to sit down and really think about what it's going to cost you. So don't even think about it. Whatever the API returns to you, you just 3x it, 5x it, or 10x it. Doesn't matter. You just build a business model around a system that's going to scale for your customers and just provide value. And as long as you're providing value, people will pay it. This is like, you're not trying to get the cheapest system out there. You're trying to make sure that you could provide enough value that they could make more money on the front end, right? Yeah. So anyway, so input token this, output token this, right? So what do? Again, this is the cost because they give us the cost. Actually, no, I calculated the cost based on the model. So this is what my input cost and output cost is. And I'm tracking this per request per customer. And then what do? I make sure I calculate that right off the top. This is my 3x model pricing. It's calculated on the fly on every single request. Okay. This is my 5x cost. And this is my premium X cost. So at any given time, I could tell you exactly what I should be charging a customer. I don't have to guess it. Because if I show up a dashboard, I'll show the user the dashboard and say, hey, you spent 5 million tokens this month here. You need to pay $10, right? I can do that because I'm calculating it at that level. And I think so. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Hopefully I didn't bore you with the details. I just want to make sure you guys understand like some of the nuances that you have to be thinking about when you're doing this at scale, right? Because if you're gonna do voice and you're gonna let everybody kind of like text to speech into your application, you're in the business of selling tokens. And at that particular point, your system has to work flawlessly. That's number one. You need to be providing value to your customers. And as long as they're getting value, they're going to keep paying tokens. And you can make money on the back end with the tokens. And that's the game here. So hopefully that makes some sense. So for the model taker, I got that one row. Opus for an email is absolutely overkill. Can get away with something much smaller. I'm 100% with you, bro. I'm just using that as an example. I wouldn't use Opus on an email. It would be ridiculous. First of all, there's a cost attached to the time that it takes for the email, right? Like what I care about is if I'm going to respond here. So for example, right, if I could dictate, I'm say, hey, can you check out that process that we talked about last week? I think we can improve it. And if you do find that document, can you send it over to me? And when you do, let's book a meeting so we can chat about it then next Monday. Okay, so 1 second, 2 100, 3 100, 4 100, 5 100, right? So 5 seconds for that API to come in. That's on a small mid-sized model. Actually, I think to be honest with you, I might be doing 5.5 on this one here. I don't know. But anyway, the point is that's 5 seconds. Okay, any single thing more than that is too slow for the customer. So there's a trade-off in terms of things. You absolutely want to use the smallest model to make your system feel responsive and fast and speedy, but right, any single thing under 4 or 5 seconds on AI request is what I would recommend. Any single thing more than that should be on a background job. That's just my personal opinion about it. So, but I'm with you. I would not use 4.7 Opus to do any single thing like that. It would just be too slow and it would give the user a bad experience. Can you demonstrate the email writer? Yes, sir. Let's see if we can do that pretty fast. So the email writer. Okay, let me see if I could pull it up. I don't know if I could think because there's a lot of stuff in here. So Email writer. Where do we have? Email outreach. Yeah, okay, this is it. This is it. Yeah, no, I'm in C sharp, so there's a little bit more complexity that I'm kind of doing on the back end. But let's see if we could just find the prompt. Let's see if we could find the email prompt. So how do we find this? So we have to go to, by the way, I wrote this code originally by myself to get it right because I had to think through the model. And then once I figured out how I want to shape it, I just had AI just basically just go to tongue on like producing the prompts and stuff like that. But now I have a good way of like telling the AI what to do. But as a developer, I wanted to personally kind of think about how I want to structure it because my goal is I want to be able to go in there and actually just edit the prompts directly. Okay, so let me see if I could pull that up for you. Okay, so no, not this one here. I need to find. Come on. Need to find this guy. And then I have this thing called an AI activity handler that basically is responsible for kind of figuring out which handler. Let me see if it's this one here. Is it this one? No, this is just a generic one. And I'm looking for the I'm looking at our JSON bread. Hang on a second. Too many things. No, I forget the amount of windows here. Prompt. So I want to find this prompt settings. So let's go prompt here, select handler, and then I want to find okay, here. So here, get artificial intelligence handler. There's just a lot of like if statements. That's always happening. It's just so that the code becomes readable. And obviously it's still at this particular rate, it's still, so get artificial intelligence handler and it passes in an action. So what I want to do is I want to actually go to the implementation. Yes. And then how do I decide where the handler is? Let me see if I could find it for you. Get model. Exception. Come on. Where is the damn handler? A prompt. Okay, so I want to find the guy. Okay, here. Let's just go to this slide here. And then I could find all of the people that are referencing it. There we go. And then you want email, right? So there we go. Okay, here. Okay, and then I'm looking for email outreach. Bam. Okay, there we go. All right. So email prompt looks like this. Okay. So again, exact same structure at the top. So this is irrelevant because what I basically do is I compose the exact same structure all the time. This is where C# really shines with this stuff. I won't go into the details on that. Don't worry about it. But this is it here. So the user ID, it's a system outreach system. And it basically just says you are specialized in crafting casual, friendly, cold outreach follow-up emails. That's your job. This for this particular prompt, right? Your user needs the user needs a short, non-pushy email that acknowledges the recipient's response and suggests a call. Generate 3 to 4 concise sentence email with a casual tone, friendly, approachable, and polite, inviting to hop on a call. You are an AI, and then this is just the repeat of it. You are an AI assistant. Your task is to create a short, friendly follow-up email, no subject line in this particular case, and thank the prospect for their response, blah, 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 blah kind of deal, right? So that's kind of the tone of it, right? And then I just basically kind of send it a couple out of the token and stuff like that, right? Still experimenting with the nuance of it. One of the things that I've been doing of lately is I just so bad. I've just been saying, hey, you're an AI specialist, specializing in crafting emails in Alex Hormozy style. Like I'll just do this, Alex. I'll just say Alex Hormozy style, STYLE. Okay, STYLE. That's what I'll do. I'll just do that. Okay, get emails perfectly like valid for sales every single time. Who's Alex Hormozy? One of the biggest content creators online in this game. Okay, I don't want to do this. Oh geez, undo. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I'm not. Okay. So, if you don't know him, ALEXHORMOZI, really cool guy. done a whole bunch of stuff for the industry. I learned a lot from him, and he's like my true business mentor. I don't pay him, but yeah, learned a lot from his YouTube. So, $100 million models, $100 million leads, etc. Fantastic book to read if you want to really get into this stuff. So, anyway, what I'll do now, because the AI, he has so much content out there that AI just literally knows how he would write an email, and so I'm all my prompts. I just put in Alex Ramosi. I'm like, do this how Alex Ramosi would write an email. Done. Okay, all day long, right? So anyway, hopefully that's been valuable, guys. Listen, I appreciate all the questions and stuff like that. I'm going to try to close or wind things down. Let me know if you guys got any other questions before we kind of wrap things up here. I'm over my time, but I also started late today, so I'm kind of trying to adjust accordingly. But I think I heard my wife in the door, so she's going to pick up my kid, so I don't have to worry too much. And if you made it all the way to this far, I appreciate you even more. We got a couple of people on YouTube. We got a couple of people on TikTok. Smaller audience today because it's a little bit more, I don't know. It was definitely I started out rough on this one today, so that might have chased away a bunch of people. But I appreciate you guys sticking around and at least watching the live and stuff. And I apologize for all of the LinkedIn, fumbling at the start. I'm gonna try to sit down and just figure out LinkedIn, because I really want to get LinkedIn going, and it's just driving me nuts that it's just never working ever. Every single week, same thing. So yeah, if you guys don't have any questions, let me know. If you haven't already, join my school community in case you guys are not in there. I have a school community. It's called Dwayne.me/school. It's called Vibe Coding to Profit. So I'm gonna drop it in the chat for everybody. If you're curious, go check it out. It's the community that I'm working on. It's a work in progress. I got some content to do here. I've been a little bit shy with thinking, but it's where I post stuff and kind of try to help people out a little bit more. And somebody asked me how to book a call with me. If you want to do that, you can jump and do it inside of here. But there's more content coming. I've been a little bit slow. I've been promising this for a while, but I'm finally getting back out of the weeds because I've been writing code like crazy, trying to capitalize on the cheap credits. Okay, and if there's any single thing I could tell you guys to do is capitalize on the cheap credits, because listen, in a month from now, okay, yeah, shit's gonna hit the fan, and you're gonna be paying out the wazoo to do those side projects that are going nowhere. You know who you are. Okay, I'm guilty of that, by the way. I got 100 different side projects. So all of a sudden it's game time now. You got 1 month. 1 month. That's it. Actually, it's literally month to the date. Today is May 1st. I didn't realize that. You got 1 month to get your crap out the door. Okay, ship something. All right. So what's my strategy right now? Is I've been doing all of the complex features. Like I got a board. I know exactly what I want to build. And I'm like, okay, build this. Just rack up. That's why I upgraded my GitHub Copilot to enterprise, because it's cheaper for me to upgrade to enterprise level to be able to get the credits and not be throttled like some of the lower plans, just so I could just get the work out and then get it to a place where it's functioning and usable. And then when they raise their credits, I'm going to use the cheaper models to basically just fix bugs. That's what I'm doing right now. So get all of the complex stuff out of the way. And I think that's probably the best strategy you could do. But more importantly, it puts a fire under all of the vibe coders. Okay? Because like game time is coming. Going from 3x to 27x, I guarantee you're going to see a lot of vibe coders. A lot of vibe coders are going to be like, you know what? Maybe it's not that. This project is not worth it anymore, right? So yeah, get a little bit of time, guys. So get as my grandfather used to say, you got to crack the whip. For my North Americans, they're probably appalled. But anyway, yeah, this is just a game. You got to crack the whip now. So we got to go hard. So listen, it's been a pleasure as always. I hope you guys got something out of this today. Like I said, I got more content to put in the school community for all the people that are in my school community. It's a little weak, I'll admit to that, but it's a work in progress. But I do have a ton of stuff. I've been really thinking about this, but it's like, you know, I'm in a race for time, so I'm trying to balance content creation as well as like getting my own stuff done. It's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do, but yeah. So, and stay tuned, because for all the people that are like on these lives and are in the community, etc., I'm gonna give you guys, when I'm ready to launch this, I'm gonna give you like rock bottom discount prices on the best system that you could use to go help you find businesses out there. I promise you that. Like I'm using this tool every single day to do sales call, and I do mean that. I'm using it a lot right now to do my sales calls and stuff. I'm learning about all the nuances, the mistakes, and what I'm basically doing is building a system that if you've never done sales before, it'll literally tell you what to do step by step. That is my mission, because I want to empower a whole bunch of vibe coders to be able to like go and build real businesses. We're not just here vibe coding for the sake of vibe coding. We're here to make money. And that's just how it is, right? The world runs on money and oil, apparently. So, yeah, but we're going to focus on the money part. So, with that, listen, it's been a pleasure. Thank you guys for all of the love and the just the support and the questions and every single thing. And I will see you guys next week. And in the community, go message me in the community if you got questions. All right, peace out. I'm out. End now. Yes.